Welcome to the Last Lex podcast. This is episode 2. Let's kind of get right into it. We got a lot of stuff to cover. Primarily, the Super Bowl is a big topic. I mean, the Chiefs defeated the 49ers in overtime, 25-22. What do you guys think? What about this game? Did it live up to the expectations? It was the
No.
most viewed telecast ever, apparently. So, what do you guys
Overt-
think?
Overtime made up for the first 25 minutes of that game.
I'm all
Zero
with you.
zero, 0-0 to like 10 minutes into the second, where finally the Niners get a field goal and then a touchdown, 10-3. I mean, we deserved overtime at that point.
Yeah, first quarter I was getting worried, 0-0. I mean, defensive slugfest, got to give props to both teams, but nobody really wants to watch that in the Super Bowl, let's be real. You want people to just light up the scoreboard.
And we
But
got that in the
I
fourth
yeah,
mean,
and
second
overtime.
half, second half
that
it was
double
off to the
pass,
races.
that pass first touchdown, I thought something was coming. I thought fireworks were going to happen, and then nothing.
Little trick play. Little trick play to get things going here. Last week we threw out Mahomes GOAT talk. If he wins this, did you guys see that from him here?
I mean,
Is he on
I
track?
I saw some stats that he needs like 60,000 more passing yards and 4 Super Bowls and a couple hundred touchdowns to even catch Tom Brady. So like
Of course.
with the rings argument, yeah, I guess because he's won the same amount in the same time. But
hmm
stats wise, he's got to keep his pace. I
I
think he
also
can,
saw a
but
comparison. I saw a comparison where it was Brady's, I think, last 4 or 5 years of his career versus Mahomes' past 4 or 5 years that he's played, and they're about equal. And I think that says something as to where he stands in this argument. I mean, is he just going to keep this momentum going through the rest of his career? Brady kept it going until tail
40.
end when he called it quits.
If Mahomes doesn't put up these numbers when he's 40, then he's not catching Brady. I'll tell you that.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. He has to. It's real. What it really comes down to for me is I don't think that rings are everything, especially in a sport like football, because football, less so even than the NBA, is not like it's more the team matters a lot more, and the team can a bad quarterback, not bad, but a good quarterback can win a Super Bowl ring with an elite defense, an elite offensive line, all these things. I mean, Exhibit A, and I'm a Giants fan. Eli Manning is not, a Dan Marino or Aaron Rodgers level of talent, but he has 2 Super Bowls because he had great defenses, great lines. He had great surrounding players. So to me, the whole rings argument as like that being the deciding factor, I don't like. Let's say Mahomes ends up with 5 rings, but he has him in other counting categories because you have to also take the eye test into account.
Mhm.
I think that matters in some ways too because I don't think anybody could really argue that Tom Brady is a more talented quarterback than Mahomes right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
but
played very
yeah, but
differently. I mean, just the style in which they're going to look to pass. I mean, Brady's not looking to throw a 40, 50-yard bomb downfield consistently. That's something Mahomes more looks to do.
But if we're looking, even if we're looking at talent, and your argument's just talent, then that number one spot goes to Aaron Rodgers, not Tom Brady.
Aaron
S-
Rodgers or
Aaron
Dan
Rodgers,
Marino. There's other
Aaron
there's other
Rodgers would
quarterbacks there.
be Aaron Rodgers would be the goat of quarterbacks if it was based off talent, but it's not.
Yeah,
It's based off numbers, and with the same offensive weapons for a majority of their careers, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Tom Brady has put up way better stats.
yeah.
Granted, the defense wins him Super Bowls, but
Yeah.
he's also putting up numbers in the Super Bowl. He's getting them into the Super Bowl. Brady also took pay cuts. That's that's going to be a part of it.
It's true too. He
Mahomes is
also
worth
played with
500
multiple
million.
teams. Played with multiple teams, multiple systems. I mean, he still got it done in Tampa.
So I think numbers do matter. The
I think so
rings,
too.
maybe not, but you have to have the numbers.
They
And
But I
matter
mean,
for
on to
sure.
on to numbers. I mean, Mahomes lit up the scoreboard. He lit up the stat sheet in this past Super Bowl. Went
yeah,
for 333 yards. I mean, that's no small feat.
Yeah.
touchdown, interception with no supporting cast, pretty much. Kelsey had
Basically.
99 yards. I mean,
And we're
Now that you bring up Kelsey too, I mean, we also talked about last week. Will he come back? He said he's back for sure. He wants the three-peat, and you see
yeah,
this. You see him
three
keeping it up for the year
three
coming.
P three P would be good. and if they win this year, then I think he's got to be done. Like
Go out on
he'll
top.
tie Gronk, he'll go out on top. I think that's a good move. He's still their number. He's still gonna be their number one option, unless they draft some stud wide receiver. But they'll have the 32nd pick. I don't see that happening. I don't know if they have the cap space for a trade or trade and sign. So I think Kelsey's still the number one option. He's
I
still gonna
agree.
put up yards. That's pretty simple.
You know, the thing to me is about the whole team going for a three-peat and someone like Kelsey. I mean, Kelsey didn't really have a fantastic regular season this year. A lot of people thought, he
Hmm.
was trending downward, and the Chiefs as a whole were trending downward. It seems like they're kind of at the point now where they're very familiar with playing football games in the playoffs. They're very familiar with playing on the road. They might be the type of team that can say, if we can, stay healthy through the regular season and get to the playoffs, once we're there, we're perfectly comfortable. We don't care if we have to play on the road. We can just get there and then we can take it up to another level. Now, is
Yep.
that really the best thing to do? Probably not. I think if you run into a team that's really hungry and has been taking the whole year very seriously, that could be a problem. But, I mean, it worked for them this year, I think, for the most part, So we'll see what happens. I mean, next year is going to be really interesting. I don't know, because there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be better. I think a lot of people are going to upgrade. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
Next year will be a good test.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. I mean, what did you guys think about the overall spectacle of the game? Did you think like it lived up to the expectations?
I think in the second half, definitely. I was, like I said, I was worried coming out of the first quarter, 0-0. I was kind of expecting the scoreboard to be lit up by both teams. You got Purdy, Mahomes just going at it. Very
Most
offensively talented teams. But the
the most electric part
defense
of
showed out.
most electric
Was
part of
that?
the first half was the coin toss.
God.
That was the most
Had
important part.
everyone on the edge of their seats. Yeah. Anybody else? I think that pretty much wraps up the Super Bowl.
Yeah, pretty much. Only two players have caught a pass and played in the Super Bowl touchdown pass and played for the Jets. Cole Hardman's one of them. The other one was when the Jets actually won the Super Bowl.
That's crazy. Well, let's see. Maybe
Many,
the
many
Jets will get
years
it next
ago.
year.
Many years ago.
69.
We'll see. Maybe the Jets can do something next year with Rodgers coming back. We'll see. Maybe he won't tear
That's going to be fun to see.
something. I don't know. We'll see. If he even comes back and he's like as good, he probably won't be.
I think he'll come back.
It'll be tight.
We'll
I don't
see.
know if he's going to be what everyone thinks he's going to be, though. An injury like that never does wonders to a person.
Never. Well, they do have better technology now. Like like you look at someone like Kevin Durant, torn Achilles.
Oh,
Comes back.
that's assuming Aaron Rodgers is using that better technology.
Right. That's true. He did some experimental thing. So, which I don't know why he did that. If he didn't
I
even
have
come
no
back,
idea either.
it
He
didn't make
probably,
I have
sense.
no idea.
he probably, well, the Jets were ass. Sorry, not very good. They would have had a chance, but he probably saw where the season was going and wanted to hold himself for next year. I mean, even though he was doing all that experimental stuff, he probably had some actual medicine, like going at it too, and it probably wouldn't have been wise. I mean, he was walking and throwing on the field normally with just like a cast on, like an ankle
That's true,
brace.
too.
So
He
like,
may have been like ready to come back if they were
if
in
In a playoff
contention
game.
if
or
they
and it
something.
if
was
they needed
looking
to
good.
if they needed to win to be in the wild card, I think he comes back and plays.
Yeah, I could see that. He may have just kind of taken it easy towards the end of the season. But I don't know. That's going to be another big storyline
Later
for the
down
years
the
to
road.
come. Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's. I mean, till next season, I guess. Right. I mean, that was it was a long year. It was a good season, but now
Yeah.
now we got to look forward to the rest of the NBA heating up, and the MLB
The
season's going to be
stage is
starting
set.
soon. And
The stage is set for the MLB.
speaking of the NBA, there's the team we were really talking about a lot last week, the Knicks. They had a really rough week since we've last discussed. They've lost a couple of games, and obviously they've been dealing with some injuries, really, really bad injuries. They've have
Yep.
essentially been playing with no center because Mitchell Robinson's been out, obviously, for this whole stretch. And then Isaiah Hartenstein, who's been healthy his entire career, is now dealing with some small problems. I think he has Achilles soreness. So he was
Hmm.
out, and they're dealing with, Jericho Sims, who is 6'9". I'm pretty sure he's not, the traditional center size. And they have Taj
Yep.
Gibson, who's a dinosaur out there. So they're struggling as is with that. Other small injuries, OG Anunoby's still out, Julius Randle's still out, and then they
I
come
got the
into this
walking
game.
wounded.
They got the walking wounded, and then they come into this game with the Rockets. They find themselves down big, and they come back. Think they were down by 16 at one point. They come
Hmm.
back. Jalen Brunson hits the step back jumper over Dylan Brooks to tie the game with 7 seconds left, and they play fantastic defense on the last possession. And Brunson has a standard closeout, a fantastic closeout actually,
Yeah.
on a three to win the game, and they call a foul, and everybody said, what's going on? That's ridiculous. And they ended up making the free throws because it
So
was
did the
essentially at the
NBA.
buzzer. And the
Hmm.
NBA comes out with a statement, and the referee who actually made the call was like, "Oh, that was an incorrect call," and nothing happened. So I'm really annoyed about that because now the Knicks are in a position where the second seed now becomes a lot tougher to get with the Cavs being
Yep.
extremely hot. The Bucks have sort of stabilized. They had that big win against the Nuggets the other night,
Hmm.
and now it's like kind of like, okay, getting the second seed or the third seed is going to be a little difficult. Your path to getting to the conference finals becomes a lot tougher being in the fourth seed, because now in this first round they'll probably be matched up against Philly most likely, and that's tough if Embiid's going to be coming back. Obviously he
That's
does
still up in
not
the
play
air.
as well in the playoffs, but if you are playing against that team, that's going to be tough. And then you got to play the Celtics in the second round. That's going to be
Hmm.
difficult for them. So this really, really hurts them, and it was so unnecessary too, because the Knicks had such momentum in the entire fourth quarter, just building back, chipping away at that lead, and and then to lose like that, it's on the road too, especially.
Hmm.
I really think they need the All-Star break to come. They got one more game left, and against the Magic, and then they're
It'll
going
be a
into the
good
All-Star
reset.
break, and we'll see what
Like
happens. They got to get healthy.
Refs
reset,
need
move on, come All-Star break.
refs need post game conferences, post game
For
interviews.
sure.
They deserve to get grilled. They deserve to get fined for bad call. Like, you can't just have a ref make a bad call, come out, affect the game, like you said, Paul. Where now the Knicks are behind in the standings, where it could have been an easy win. They come in and go, "Oh yeah, I messed up, bad call."
I think you also need more punishments for
You
any
should
ref that blows a game like this. I mean, Paul, you were mentioning
for All Star.
this
Yeah,
was the same ref that missed the call for LeBron against the Celtics last year too, right?
Yes. Yes, this is
Yeah,
a
so I mean,
notorious ref.
this is
how I mean, coming back and doing the exact same thing now twice,
this
that's that can't be
It's a
happening.
little
this is
shady because to me, you look at it like the Rockets were the underdog here in this game, betting odds wise. And you look at like some shady things. Like this guy, I know a lot of Nick's Twitter has been finding things about this guy, and it's very shady. You're looking into it. He's a former Miami cop. Listen to this. Games that he's refed for the Heat, I think the Heat are 7-0. That's really suspicious.
that's suspicious.
So I don't
A
know. I don't
little
know what's
bit,
going
a
on with
little
this
bit.
guy.
But
I think they got to
this
look into
this
it.
is not this is not just an NBA problem. This is an all sports league
Oh
problem.
yeah, I'm with you too.
It's crazy. NFL, like, you can't. Teams can't get so many calls to like, it's ridiculous. They need to get reprimanded for
You
unbelievable.
think you got to implement something where it's like, I don't know, last 2 minutes of the game, last minute of a game, no matter what sport, and you have to review a call like that?
Well, there's routine plays, right? So it's like, what are you going to do? Review every play? I think really what it comes down to is in a situation like that, I think they really need to expand the coaches challenge rules, because from what I understand, I think the Knicks had already used their challenge.
Hmm.
I think they need to maybe consider adding a second coaches challenge.
If you win the
Or
challenge, you get it back.
if you win the
Yeah.
challenge, I believe you get your timeout back, not a second challenge. I'm not
Mm.
100% sure on that. I might be wrong. But I think what they need to do is implement a rule where I think every coach might get a second challenge after the 2 minute mark. Because obviously, certain rules
I
change.
agree with that too.
Yeah.
I think it just
I could
if you're
get
watching
behind that.
sports, you should want the actual outcome of the game to be the actual outcome no matter what. I mean, I'm all for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I could
there's
get
other
behind
there's
that.
like other rules in regards to the challenge that's really weird. Like I know if a player, let's say, fouls somebody but they don't call the foul, a coach can't be like, that's a blatant foul, let's challenge that. You can't
Hmm.
apparently challenge something that isn't called.
Hmm.
Like you could overturn, like if you call a foul,
Oh
you're able
yeah,
to overturn
I
it, but
think I
you
remember
can't
that actually
say,
came to the.
"Oh, that's not a foul," or "That is a foul." They didn't call it. Like, let's challenge that. You can't challenge that for some reason. I think they need to revamp that too.
I'm with you all the way there.
I agree. I'm with you too.
But moving from just the refs into the Knicks, I mean, I know it's the middle of the season. This is kind of like the who cares, a game's a game here and there. But with the position that the Knicks are in right now, I think, like you were saying, this really does impact them in a huge way.
Yeah,
I mean, you're just coming off one of the hottest streaks so far in the NBA season. Now you drop three straight. A little cold. Maybe some questions start being thrown around in the locker room, player confidence. Who knows? But I mean, now you're 2 games out of the 3 seed, 3 games out of the 2 seed. And if you look at the way that they're trending, I mean, they are in the process of falling even further and further down after dropping three straight now. I'm with you that they got to wait for the All-Star break, get healthy, recap, move on, look to the second half of the season.
yeah, for sure. I mean, they really just need to get healthy because they have not been at full strength since the beginning of January.
Yep.
Actually, we actually really haven't seen the team to its true potential with Mitchell Robinson being there, OG Anunoby, Julius Randle. We haven't had all those players on the
Especially
floor.
after the trade deadline, too. I mean,
So with
now you just brought in two
Bogdanovich and
more.
Burks now, and Burks made a huge clutch shot in the fourth last night. Bogdanovich, made a couple of threes. Those guys are filling their roles, but those aren't going to be defensive stoppers. They're not. It's not going to solve the
Yeah.
problem of we're out there without a center. That's
Hmm.
not. That's a problem. That's a really big problem, especially for the Knicks, where Tom Thibodeau, his defense really relies on having a rim protector there. And Precious Achiuwa has been playing fantastic,
Yeah.
but in reality, he should be backing up Julius Randle, not being starting center.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I'm completely with you there.
that's yeah. So that I mean that's basically it for the Knicks. I mean the Cavs are hot, but we'll see what happens with them because they had a meltdown in the playoffs last year. That was
Hmm.
they were favored
Yeah.
to beat the Knicks. They should have beat the Knicks, and they didn't. Donovan Mitchell got outshined by Jalen Brunson back-to-back years. He did it, 2 years ago when
Hmm.
Brunson was with the Mavericks and Donovan Mitchell was still with the Jazz. Completely outshined him, and last year he got outshined again. You had Mitchell Robinson completely dominating Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, but maybe they'll come back and learn from that. Maybe they can get it
Playoff
going.
basketball. Anything could happen.
Yeah. Come playoff time.
We'll see.
Complete toss up.
We'll see. I mean, it depends on who they're matched up with. If they're getting that second seed, which that's where they are right now, and the way they've been playing, they'll probably be able to hold on to that. I think if they can hold on to number two, they really are going to hope for a good matchup coming in the first round. If they're matched up with the Heat, that's not great. If
Yeah,
they're
things
matched
could
up with
fall
the
apart.
Magic, they have,
That's better.
a little bit of a better shot because that's a very inexperienced team. They probably would be
Hmm.
favored to win that. And then, once you make it past the first round, you build your confidence up, and then you never know what happens at that point.
Yep. Yeah.
So, yeah, and then, there's also some other rumors kind of going around the NBA right now because
Hmm.
we have this whole deal with Trae Young.
Hmm.
He's been rumored to. They're saying that the the Hawks are actually considering moving Trae Young in the offseason as opposed to DeJounte Murray.
Yeah,
It
it's
makes sense,
interesting.
and it doesn't make sense.
It's interesting how they flipped, and now instead of looking to move Murray, they're looking to move Trae Young. To me, this is like we're looking to get people out rather than bring them in, and we're giving up on any shot of winning in the near future.
They know they're not going to win with Trae Young alone, and they could get more pieces for Trae since he's averaging
Hmm
27 and 10 than they could
Yeah,
get for Murray, who's very inconsistent this year.
I think they're moving more towards the rebuild stage rather than the win now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's a little bit of an interesting thing because where do they go from here, right? The Hawks.
Hmm
It kind of, I think they kind of reached their potential 3 seasons ago when they got to the conference finals
Yep.
and everybody played as well as they could. But there was really a lot of factors that played into the Hawks getting there. And it was really more so the other teams beating themselves. It's like when they beat the
hmm
Knicks in the first round and they beat them in 5 games. Did the Hawks really beat the Knicks, or did Julius Randle and RJ Barrett have horrible series? And did the Knicks
Yeah.
not have a legitimate point guard? You know what I mean? That was
Yep.
kind of really that. Then they got to that game 7 against the Sixers in the second round, and that was when Ben Simmons completely forgot how to play basketball. His confidence was gone. And so it really was that
Nothing new
hit
there.
and then you go to the conference finals and they lost to the Bucks, who would go on to win the championship. So I mean, they kind of reached their potential there. They've trended downwards since then. They haven't been able to build on that. I think blowing it up is a solid move for them because if they trade
I
Trae
agree too.
Young, there's I don't know which team is going to be looking to grab him. You have a few options out there, but like a team like the Lakers, for example, which
Hmm
maybe we can get into, like, should the Lakers even do that? But they would be rumored to be in that conversation because the Lakers are going to apparently this offseason they'll have 3 first-round picks to trade.
Yep.
And if you can get three
Dude,
first-round picks for Trae Young, I think he might be worth a little bit more than that, but I don't know if there's really a market for him like that.
you would give D'Angelo.
You give
You,
D'Angelo Russell
you restrict
probably a
Russell too.
salary and 3 first-round picks. They can do
But I
that.
mean, you brought up, do the Lakers even do this? And to me, I don't think they're in the position to really go out and get somebody like Trae Young. I mean, the Lakers' window to win is really closing. You have LeBron's contract coming up to an end. I'm not entirely sure when Davis's contract is up. Is he
He's
coming up
he's
anytime
extended.
soon?
He's
No?
well extended, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, he's well
Yeah.
extended. So I mean, Davis is stuck there. But outside of LeBron and Davis, I mean, you don't really have any powerhouse people or to really go for a championship there. I wouldn't go for it if I'm the Lakers. I think you keep your picks and look to the future.
Especially if you think LeBron's definitely leaving. You don't want
Yeah.
to pair Trae Young with Anthony Davis when you had LeBron and AD. I would keep the
hmm
picks too.
Yeah.
Look for an up and coming shooting guard, maybe a power forward too.
Yeah.
Yep. I think you have to be under the impression that LeBron's leaving.
Where I would go if I'm Trae Young is the Spurs. Pair that
That
with
is very
pairing up,
true.
And they would
pairing up
have
with
the
Wemby.
assets to do it.
Yep. Spurs have
That's
plenty of
what I
assets.
thought.
You get this giant freak of nature, some help. I mean, this guy is putting up ungodly numbers.
Yo, triple
Last
double with
night,
blocks last night.
last night was ridiculous. The man put up, what did he put up? 27, 14, 5, and 10 with 2 steals.
That was
I
crazy.
mean,
10 blocks.
we haven't we
Insane.
haven't seen the likes of this in years.
Since David Robinson, another
David
super.
Robinson was the last quadruple double. You guys think he's got one in him this year?
A quadruple double? I
Quadruple
don't
double this year.
I don't know
Maybe
if he
not
can
this
get the
year.
assists. Because he
I
doesn't
don't
have any
know.
good teammates.
That's
If Trae,
true. You
Trae
get
Young's
some
on the
help.
team. If Trae Young's on
You
the
get
team,
some
I can see
help
it
from him,
10-10.
and
I can
I
see
could
it
see it happening.
10-10.
I could see it happening. But the fact, even more impressive than anything else, I mean, this guy's a rookie and he's putting up 20 points a game.
He's
You don't
also
see that from rookies typically.
Yeah.
he's also a 7-5 shooter. He could shoot the three, and he's 7-5.
Exactly. I mean, this year he's shooting what, 30, 35% from three?
Yeah, he's shooting
He's going
well.
crazy.
He started the year pretty rough. And
Also,
he's
Popovich formed him.
right. And
Yeah.
he's come into his own a bit. I think really what it comes down to is now that he's comfortable, the Spurs know what they have. And they know that this guy he's going to be, a top 10, top 5 player in the NBA within the coming years. Not right now, obviously. He's not at an all-star level yet, but he's close.
I mean, where do you put him right now, though, now that you're on it?
right now, I would
You
say
put him in
he's
top 30?
well top 30. I think that the top 24 All Stars.
Yeah.
I would
I think
say
he's on the cusp.
top 40 for sure.
Yeah.
You know, we'll
He's just
see.
outside that bunch.
Yeah, he's
He's
right outside that. As a
well,
rookie,
he's
he's
definitely
19. You know,
well.
it's
If you
impressive.
took if you took the single top player from each team, that'd be what top 30, top 30.
Top 30.
So yeah, and then you're counting like Booker and Durant on the same team, so maybe that's two. So yeah, I would
There's a
say
couple teams though here
30.
and
There's a
there.
lot of
You
Yeah,
teams
got
that
so
two
have multiple
people.
so like
players.
so anywhere from like 30 to 40,
Hmm. Yeah,
he's
no,
the best on the
I
team.
think he's right outside the door of being put in that conversation. I think he's got plenty of All-Star game appearances to come.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say next year for sure. I
Yeah,
think.
I mean, if he keeps this up, maybe get some help, get a little bit more eyes on him with a better team. I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be making it.
yeah, he'll definitely make it next year because I think the Spurs will make a move this offseason because they do need a point guard.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking because there was a lot of like potential options for the Spurs for a point guard. I was thinking when Emmanuel Quickley was on the Knicks and
Hmm.
there was a risk of him hitting restricted free agency that the Spurs would go try to grab him when that
Hmm.
time came, but I don't think that would happen now. Um, I think Trae Young might be the guy because you go out there, you get an all-star point guard. That pick and roll would be disgusting, and then you
Oh yeah.
surround those two with some shooters and defenders. You know that obviously the problem with Trae Young is he's a traffic cone on defense. He's not
Yes.
good at all on
Yeah, but he's
defense.
also aren't a lot of his stats for defensive rating because the rest of his team isn't that great at defending either. So help defense isn't that considered part of stats, or are you just talking like on ball?
His individual defense is
Yeah.
garbage. He does
Okay.
not. He's not
Yeah.
a good defender. He's one of the worst defenders in the NBA. He's made the defenders around him worse. Like you know how you have certain
Okay.
players that make guys
Uh,
around them better. He's made the defenders around them worse. Like DeJounte
Yeah.
Murray, for example, who they're intending on potentially keeping. He was one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA when he was
Hmm.
on the Spurs, and then the Hawks acquired him, and now he's all of a sudden not that top tier defender. He's still a good defender, but he's
Because you're
not
left
top
picking
tier.
up the slack.
He's picking up all the slack from Trae Young because he doesn't play defense. He's not good at
Hmm.
it. So to me, but if you get some good defenders and you have Wemby there in the paint on offense, if you take those two guys, maybe you get another guy that can score. And they have guys that have Vassell,
Yep.
they have good
I think like
players.
a traditional wing catch and shoot guy plus Trey would be a scary combination on
Yeah,
the Spurs.
and
I
they
mean,
and they have those type of players. They're just
Yeah.
young. So if
Yeah.
they can develop that, acquire Trae Young, because it's really what they're missing is a point guard. That's what they
Yeah,
really
if you've
really
seen
need.
footage of the Spurs, I mean, there's so many times you could point to where Wemby is open and he's just
Nobody
not
sees
getting the
him,
ball. Yeah,
and you
nobody
got a
sees
guy
him.
like
And that's
Trae
due to a
Young.
lack of a point guard.
Trae Young
Especially
is
Trey Young. I mean, he's putting up what, 12 assists per game
he's
ish?
one of the best passers in the
put
NBA. His court
Yeah.
vision's ridiculous.
put
Yeah.
Chris put Chris Paul on the team with Trae Young.
Chris Paul's washed.
Yeah, he's a little washed.
I don't
That's
I
the
don't think
problem.
I don't think Chris Paul's got another maybe 1, 2 years in the
Give
league
him
and
a
then that's it for him.
give
I
him a
think
half a
I think
year.
he's retired after this year. I think he's having a
Really?
horrible year. I think he's done. I think he's gonna
Well, he's also
retire.
been out for the past like
Yeah,
month and a
it's a
half.
sign. I think he's done.
It's his time. It's his time. He's
Yeah.
old.
He's been
Especially
around
he's
for
not even
forever.
making money anymore. Really, he's playing on minimum
Yeah.
contracts. It's over. The dream is dead.
Yeah.
You know what would have been great though if you would have got Chris Paul maybe the Chris Paul of 3 years ago. When you
Hmm.
could have got him for cheap, but he
Yep.
was still productive. That would have been fantastic to get him on that
Yeah.
team. But
Yep.
obviously that's not possible.
He's long gone.
So, I mean, the thing is though with the Lakers, like because obviously the Lakers are rumored to be a team that would go after Trae Young.
Hmm.
If they lose LeBron, there's no purpose because they might as well just keep
I'm
those
with you.
picks and try rebuilding. Because the talk of LeBron, the latest headline, is that he is two mystery teams. This is according to Mark Stein.
Hmm.
Two mystery teams believe that he would leave the Lakers to sign with a team that drafted Bronny. If those teams had drafted Bronny, they believe that he would leave to go play with them and take a pay cut.
Yep.
I don't I don't doubt that for a second.
I don't either.
LeBron's Nike deal itself is $1 billion lifetime.
Oh yeah, LeBron's got
He
enough
doesn't.
coming in
He doesn't
from
need the
everything
NBA
else.
money anymore.
He also made enough from just playing in the NBA for how many years now? I mean,
I mean, I think it would be a mistake for a team to draft just Bronny to get LeBron
I
because
agree.
because you're assuming that LeBron plays 1 year with his son and retires, right?
That
That's
would
the
be
assumption.
that's best case scenario.
Bronny
Maybe
right
two.
Bronny right now in this draft is not worth the pick.
And they
No,
would
I don't
probably have to
agree.
take him in the first round
Yeah,
if
you would.
this is what
A
came
lot of
along
them.
with it.
He's
hmm
not worth the pick right now. There's too much like teaching and conditioning and strength. Like he would need to grow. There's too much growth
Also,
for
looking
potential.
even deeper into this, if you do this, you're also saying Bronny's going to be playing for your team. It's
Yeah.
not just you drafted him and he's in your system.
Yeah, he's getting
He
15
wants to
minutes.
play with him.
Yeah,
I don't see him being a 15-minute guy in the NBA.
no.
That's the problem. That's really the
Yeah,
biggest issue to me because
And this is the year because LeBron's contract is up.
yeah,
So this
yeah,
is the year.
this is the year
yep.
you'd want to do it. And to me, the way I look at it is Bronny was a fine prospect when he was in high school.
hmm
He was, I think, ranked in the top 20, which or
hmm
top 30. He was, good prospect. Obviously not like a
He's
five-star
not
recruiter or
he's
anything.
not a potential one and done guy.
Yeah,
But things change when you
things.
enter college. I
But the
mean, you
thing
go from
was,
high school to college, college to NBA.
the kid had a
The
heart
difference in
attack.
skill is incredible.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
understand that too,
So
but I
he
mean,
had a heart
And
attack. So I
he
don't
had
think
no
he's
off
ready
season.
for the NBA. To
I
be at a
agree
team
also.
like USC, which is not very good at all, and he's
hmm
not even dominating in their
Yeah,
games, he's not ready to step on an NBA court.
I mean, I think
I
He
yeah.
needs
fully
another
agree.
year at
I
least.
mean, he like you said, he had the heart attack. He missed the whole off season. I think he missed like the first 10 games too.
hmm
Just not, just stay the extra year.
It doesn't scream, I'm ready to go into the NBA. I mean, I know this is LeBron's wish, but I just don't know if it's
But
actually going to be possible.
if LeBron signs somewhere, let's just say like the Knicks for like a 1 year deal, give him like 25 million, and he's putting up 28, 6-6. Guess what? He's doing it
It's a
again.
championship team.
Yeah, but and also he'll keep playing if he's averaging 26, 6-6
Oh,
as
I
long
agree
as
He
he's
too.
probably
working.
won't be
I
putting up those numbers next year. I
Yeah,
think
that's what people said. That's what people said 3 years ago.
his numbers are. I think this year. I think he's averaging what is it, 28. I mean, no, not 20. I think
I'll
he's
take a
averaging
look.
24,
Take a
7,
look.
and 7, something along those lines, or 24, 8, and 6, something like that. His
That
scoring
would
Yeah,
is
be
down.
he's got
Um,
25, 7, and 8
25,
that's
7,
on
and 8.
51% from the field.
Right. It's
that's
still
insane.
fantastic numbers.
He's eighth in the league on assists now.
Yeah.
He's learned how to change his game. I mean, he's 16th in the league in scoring.
Yeah. He's
I mean,
fantastic.
yeah.
His numbers are fantastic. His offensive numbers are fantastic.
So
And when he wants
what
to
does he
play
can't do that for
defense,
2 more years?
yeah, when he wants to play defense, he's still effective. The problem is
hmm
he's taking off most of the possessions on defense. I don't blame him. He's 39 years old. You don't see any
Yes.
39-year-olds like playing every possession like it's game 7 of the finals. You know,
hmm But
I
come playoff
understand that.
time,
Come playoff time
I
he
think he
will.
still have the ability to turn it on.
The real question with his son isn't whether or not he plays with Bronny. He's definitely gonna play with Bronny. The real question would be, does he have the juice in him? And is Bryce the younger son? Because that he's supposedly way better than Bronny
He is.
and tearing it up. So if he comes into the league right away, depending on the amount of years and gaps, does he stay one more year? That
I mean,
extra
how
year.
many years away is
I
this
think
from
he's
happening?
2.
I think it's like at least 2, probably 3. That's tough. Like, because his numbers could go down to 12, 12, 3, and 3. I think he stays if those are his numbers.
That comes down to whether or not LeBron is okay with
Well,
switching his role.
yeah.
And I don't know if he's going to be okay with that because if you want 2, 3 more years out of LeBron, he's not going to be this
He's going to be the
score
guy.
first option. He's not going to be the guy. And I don't know if LeBron's going to be able to like mentally accept that.
We'll
I think
see.
he will. I think he's a team first guy, and I think even
I
right
agree
now,
too.
He's not
everybody
playing.
real yeah.
In those years, he wouldn't be playing to win anymore. He'd be playing just to play with his sons. That's a different mentality.
That he's not
I don't
capable
know
of.
if I don't think he's capable of that. See, I don't agree that he wouldn't be playing to win. I think he would still need to be playing to win. But I just don't know if I see LeBron being okay with averaging like 13 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. It just doesn't scream LeBron. I mean, it's like Jordan when Jordan's career kind of went out way too long when he was on the Wizards.
We'll see.
We will see.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I'll throw you
honestly,
$5 on it.
yeah, I think the, in my opinion, I don't think Bronny should declare for the draft this year. I think just getting to the NBA,
I'm
not
with you.
being ready, and then he gets out, and then he doesn't get a second chance.
Hmm.
To me, I think wait, play 2 or 3 years in college and get ready, and then be ready to go into the NBA.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
with you.
LeBron has to give up the dream, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that's
Yep.
just my take.
But
Another
I
old
think the
person.
final news inside the NBA right now, I mean, outside the All-Star game, which we're going to go into, but just real quick, Kyle Lowry signing with the 76ers. Does this give them some hope? I mean, he's
I
not
did
putting
not
up electric
realize.
numbers.
I did not realize he was 37. I can
He's
tell you
been
that right
around.
now.
He's been around the block.
I don't remember him pre probably like DeRozan like Raptors.
Yeah.
The year before Kawhi went to the Raptors, I don't remember him in the league.
No,
He should
he's
he,
around the
he,
block.
he should be gone. He's too old.
Yeah, I mean, he's not putting up crazy numbers anymore. I mean, he's kind of just a role player off the bench type of guy. Give your starters a break. He's putting up 8 points. What is it? 4 rebounds, 4 assists.
Yeah, decent numbers. I mean,
Not good, not bad. I mean, it's kind of what you expect from a guy's age.
Yeah, it help. Does it help? I mean, it probably does help for a guy off the bench. For like, it just depends on how many minutes they're gonna give him. He's a 10-minute max guy, probably
No, I
10
think
to
he's got
15.
more than 10.
I don't know. I don't. I think if they have more than 10, that the 76ers are in trouble. Like 10 to 15.
Yeah. I mean, he gives Maxey a break for sure from
Yeah, but
time to time, which is
Max needs to
nice.
be on the court.
Exactly. But I mean, you need a breather every once in a while.
you,
But it's also nice with a player like him just having that type of voice in the locker room. I mean, it's no secret that the Sixers don't know how to perform in the playoffs.
yeah,
I mean, Lowry's been there with multiple teams. He's gone deep into playoffs before.
Yeah,
I think that could provide some comfort just to the playoffs, like having somebody who's been there talk to them, give them advice. I think that'll help. But in terms of actually what he's going to do on the court, I don't think it's going to be anything significant.
you need a
I
locker
agree.
room guy like that because the fact that those players on the Sixers, you got guys like Maxey and Embiid,
Hmm.
they've been to the playoffs before, but they, as you said, they have definitely not played well there. You got a
Hmm.
guy like Lowry who he's an NBA champion. He won with
Yep.
the Raptors as not the best
And he
player, but he was
probably,
a star level player.
yeah,
He went to the finals last year on the Heat. I mean, he wasn't
yep,
really. I don't even know if he was really playing much, but he
yeah.
was.
But
He
he's
was
been
still.
there.
He was on the roster. So he's, definitely making an impact there.
Yeah.
Wasn't he on the Heat team with the bubble too? The Jimmy
No,
Butler team? Was
no,
Maybe
he
he was at the
was he still on
Raptors
the
still at that point, I
was he
believe.
still on the Raptors?
Yeah, I
it
think
may
they
have been the
traded
year
for him in
after he came.
2021.
Hmm.
Okay.
Um, he's a well-respected guy in the league.
Yeah.
You get him in there in the locker room, and he still is giving you productive, minutes. And he's a very, very dedicated player to, putting
Yeah.
effort in and stuff like that. So that's kind of the type of guy that you need coming off your bench as a backup point guard. So
Yeah.
that's huge.
To me, that's why they signed him. I don't think they were expecting anything huge on the court. I think they were just hoping for a voice.
That's the only reason why they signed him.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see what happens because now at this point, teams are going to take a break. We have the All-Star break coming up. And with the
Yep.
All-Star break, that means All-Star weekend, which
All the lovely events that come around
there's,
with it.
a lot of interesting things this year. I think they're
Honestly,
making it a little more interesting this year.
honestly, besides the MLB All-Star game, the most exciting events is probably like the NBA, the shooting contest. The
Yeah.
dunk has been in the past. There needs some rule changes to that. but at least or the skill and the skills challenge, at least it's comparable to the sport.
Yeah. No, I think the 3-point contest is always the most enjoyable thing of All-Star Weekend, year in, year out. And I think you're going to get more of the same from it this year. You got some wonderful candidates here. And who you guys see coming out on top?
I mean, I'm always gonna ride with Brunson as a Knick fan,
A
but
little bit of a biased opinion.
no, not even close to being biased.
Paul, who you
Um,
got?
Out of that bunch,
Damian Lillard's so old, man.
Lillard's
Can't count
won
him
them
out, though.
before. I think he won last
Can't
year.
count him out.
I think
I'm
Lillard won
counting.
last year. To
I'm
me,
counting him
I
out.
think I don't think it's going to be Brunson.
I don't
He's
think so
actually
either.
been trending downwards. His 3-point shooting without Julius Randle.
Laurie Markkinen would be my dark horse.
That's who my pick is.
Really?
You think
I'm
Lillard?
riding with marketing.
Dude, just because he has the length to grab the ball,
Sneaky.
the release.
Sneaky pick, but that's who I'm riding with. I just
I'm
got a
rocking with
feeling.
Damian Lillard. I think he's going to win
All
it.
right.
I think he's going to win it. I think he's won them. I think he won last year. I think he's going to do it. I think he's my pick for that. But that's like not even the most interesting thing because everyone's like, "Where's Steph?"
Yep.
Steph's doing something
And
else.
Steph has his own event. That's how good Steph is. But he's going head to head with Sabrina Ionescu from the WNBA
INSQ.
for Lionescu. Apologies.
Oh boy, you're done.
And
You're finished.
Yeah, get messed up.
and they're going head to head in their own little event. What do you guys? What you guys take on this?
Why the regulations aren't standard, either go one or the other, is beyond me.
I'm with you
Because
too.
because then it's just you might as well just have a lot of other WNBA players and do like a men's versus women's total 3-point instead of
Yeah.
just a one-on-one. I don't know.
To me, I think them having separate rules is a little ridiculous because at the end of the day, if she does win, which she could, because she
Yeah.
outperformed any NBA record for that with the WNBA 3-point line.
She's
and
not a bad.
WNBA
She's not a
basketball.
bad player.
Fantastic shooter. She might
Yeah.
pound for pound she might be a better better shooter, but it's just people are going to criticize it if she wins because they're going to say, oh well, she didn't have the same rules. So to me, I see it as a pointless exercise in that regard.
It's a good.
I agree
introduction.
too.
It's a good introduction to like maybe if they like lowered the hoop, like maybe there's a way to figure out. Maybe this is the way to get people to watch the WNBA, which that's hard to believe for me.
They won't lower
So I
the
don't
hoop.
think they need to do something to make it more exciting, and maybe not having maybe if INSU loses by like 1 or 2 or she even wins, maybe they'll realize you don't need the same regulation as men's to be that exciting. I don't know. Spitballing here.
I think this is a great marketing move for them because obviously everybody knows the WNBA is not as popular, right?
Mhm.
And I think it's a great marketing move for them because now people who have never heard of her have now heard of her because she's going to be it. And let's say she beats Curry. You have to look at the facts, and the facts are that Barclays Center, because that's where the Liberty play, she plays for the New York Liberty. Barclays Center in the WNBA finals last year had more seats in the stands than a Nets regular season game. So I don't mean to go after Nets fans here, but like what I'm saying is the WNBA is gaining a little bit of popularity.
Oh yeah.
I think that gaining popularity though is because of college hoops. Women's college basketball has been exciting, and there's a lot of mix-ups, and a lot of the top teams lose. I mean, even in men's this year, there's been a lot of upsets and a lot of parity, and I think players in women's NCAA are getting better, and they're doing more, and there's more scoring, and that's leading for people to follow those players from college to pro. I don't think that it has anything to do with how exciting the WNBA actually is.
Yeah. No, but I think this is a good way to just get him in the spotlight because I mean, no matter who you are, you're watching this, and you have your own vision of who Steph Curry is, and it's no secret that it's probably Steph Curry is one hell of a shooter, and arguably the best shooter to ever play in the NBA.
Inarguably. Yeah.
Inarguably, yes. I mean, he's the best shooter to ever come into the league.
JJ
And
Redick.
all of a sudden, you pit him against a WNBA star, and people's eyebrows are going to be raised. I mean, you're going to inevitably look into who she is and what she's been doing. I think it's a
Excited to
good
watch.
way to get the WNBA into the spotlight.
I'm excited to watch that more than the dunk contest.
Yeah, that's how it's been year in, year out. The dunk contest has been
It's done.
something that has been fleeting, but something that
Yes.
might revive the dunk contest a little bit this year. You have your first big name or active all star in the dunk contest, really, since Victor Oladipo in 2018 and Jaylen Brown. I mean, something that people have just been struggling with to get into the dunk contest is there's no big name to watch. You're not looking to see what LeBron's doing in the dunk contest or what Dwight Howard's doing. It's just been a couple of bench players, really, for lack of a better word.
It's worse than that. Now you have
Yeah.
people that aren't even in the NBA.
You have two out
G
of the
League
four
players.
contestants from the G League.
Okay, is not having really like well-known players and athletic and super fun players to watch, is that a testament or a result of dunks being harder to create? Because how many times could you go 360 between the legs
That's
and
true.
give it a 50 out of 50? Like now, I feel like even if you took the 12th man off the Spurs, he could do a lob off the backboard between the legs like it was nothing.
Exactly. I think that ties into more of just, is it time to let it go? I mean, it's no secret the dunk contest is probably the least hyped up event every year for the past 5-ish years in the NBA. And I think that's just part of like, you've seen everything before. You can only dunk a ball so many different ways. At this point, it's just becoming a spectacle of, oh, what celebrity are you going to bring out to hold the basketball? Or are you going to raise the rim a foot? But I mean,
Are you gonna wear
90% of everything's been done.
Are you gonna wear Vince Carter's jersey and throw your elbow in the hoop?
Exactly. It's whose dunk are you going to replicate?
Right.
Everything's been done. Nobody really has any shock and awe factor watching this. I mean, it's one thing when Julius Erving takes off from the free throw line for the first time, but how many times are people going to be able to do that? And how many times can you legitimately give that a 10?
What do you do though? Like, say you get rid of the dunk contest, there's just avoid an All-Star weekend.
I think you could get in like a historical 3v3 tournament. Like, I don't know, you bring in some NBA legends that are still in shape, maybe pair them up with some current stars, and just do a little 3v3 pickup game tournament.
Better idea, and it's just popped
Shoot.
into my head. 1v1 tournament.
Okay.
Current players.
Okay.
Like, let's just say, like, you went out there and it's like, all right, we're doing the 1v1 tournament, and it's like Kevin Durant versus LeBron, and that's like the final.
I think you'd also get some fun matchups there too
electric.
if you get like,
let's just say like 1v1 ones and twos to I don't know 11.
Yeah.
And you get 8 guys and you do a tournament.
No.
I think that'd be fun too.
You know what that results in? You do that the day before.
Okay.
The day before the actual All-Star game. And that's for All-Star selection. Live draft 1-on-1 tournament.
That's how they get the reserves?
That's how they get reserves. That's what would get people to watch.
Well, you know,
the day before. Have
I don't think you can snub people like that.
You want to be an All-Star? Show me what you got.
No, because I mean, not getting reserves in there, but I think you'd get some fun matchups if this was just there for fun. Like, I mean, if you had Steph Curry going up against Embiid, I think that would just be fun to watch.
That would be fun. You know what it comes down to, though? Why that would never
ways.
work? That would never work for the same reason why the dunk contest ultimately failed. The dunk contest failed because it was no longer a badge of honor for the face of the NBA to go to the dunk contest and try to win it, because that was what it was, where, you know, Dr. J was in the dunk
contest. Were a scary man if you won the dunk
contest. Was in there. Michael Jordan was in there. Kobe.
This just popped in my head. What if you do a game of horse tournament?
That would be fun too.
I don't think that would be entertaining.
Skills. Because you could get a mix of dunks in there. Like
No, I think that could be entertaining.
What if Aaron Gordon does a lob between his leg dunk and then he's going up against Steph Curry? Now you see Steph Curry try to attempt that.
That
I
would
don't
be
know.
kind of stupid. That's like broken though. I
I
think.
don't know though. It could
I
be.
mean, obviously,
You
there's
could have
rules
some
in
fun.
place,
I mean,
but
yeah, but you could have some fun matchups though. That could be cool.
I think regardless, you're seeing that the dunk contest's relevance is kind of gone. I mean, we're throwing out things like horse, a 1v1 tournament, a 3v3 tournament. I mean, any way you look at it, any of those options sound more exciting to me than a dunk contest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
But I don't know. I think it would be cool if they brought in some legends and somehow wiggled that into the All Star game.
It's like
Because I mean,
3v3.
You see
Shaq.
yeah, I mean, Shaq can
backing
still
down
play
Barkley.
for sure.
Michael
Kenny the
Jordan,
Jet. I mean,
LeBron,
that
and
whole
Shaq
TNT
team up.
cast. Yeah, no, I think that would be really entertaining to watch. Even if you just
Yeah.
pair them with some current players. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, say you take like Curry, Jordan, and Shaq, and you put them against LeBron, Pippen, and I don't know what's another big that's still around.
I don't know.
Barkley.
Yeah, sure. Oh God,
Yeah.
that would be. I don't think anybody wants to see that.
That would just be fun to watch.
I want to see Shaq body
It'd be a
Barkley
little bit of a
Oh
mess,
my God.
and have
but
Ernie
I think it would
Johnson-
be fun.
Have Ernie Johnson laughing his butt off watching
Yeah.
Shaq dunk on Barkley.
Now, this idea that you have actually, it was kind of, I believe it was already done. Not 3v3s, but they
Yeah.
had 1v1s, I believe. They tried it one year with retired players.
Uh-huh.
I think it was Kareem versus Dr. J. And I think they did this one year in like the late 90s.
I just
saw a
don't think
video
you
of
could do it
and
with
looked
1v1s.
horrible. It looked
Bro,
You can't do
horrible.
it with 1v1s because I
Bro, they
mean,
both got scoliosis. That's not working out for them.
you got to take some load off of them by giving them teammates at least.
Yeah.
But I think it would be a more fun event rather than a spectacle of NBA talent. It's like the same thing that the Yankees have with Old Timers Day when they used to play the games
Not
actually.
anymore.
Yeah, I know when they used to play the games, but it's the same type of thing. It doesn't look pretty, but it's fun to see.
Last year's was still fun. It
Yeah.
was still fun to see, even though they didn't play. Should have went.
Yeah, and for the actual All-Star game itself, they made the change back to East versus West.
Thank God.
I like
like
it.
that.
I don't like I thought the captains and the idea of drafting the teams, it was fun when there was like some drama.
Like who are we gonna pick?
Like, there was like shade
Durant,
being thrown
Harden.
one year at James Harden. Nobody wanted to pick
Durant,
him
Yes.
because he's past.
Durant, Harden, and Westbrook.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. There's fun things like that.
But that's not the structure of an All-Star game.
Yeah.
I do like though that the All-Star game within like once a certain point total hits, it's like next to 12 wins.
I think they're getting rid of that. I think they're going back to the old format. I don't think they're doing the target score anymore.
No.
Target score
I'm not
made the
100%
last-
sure.
Target score made the last 5 minutes like an actual game. Like they actually came back. They actually
Well,
try. It's not just.
I think with the
alley-oop from
NBA,
court.
I think with the NBA, you don't really want a game. I say that loosely. I think it's fun to see these players kind of just show out and really try and get flashy.
Yeah.
To an extent, I think an actual game, yeah, it would be fun to see these guys going at it full steam, but you're not really going to get that.
And would you really
Defense
want to
isn't
see
played here.
an MVP level player get injured
Exactly.
in a meaningless game?
Exactly.
No.
That's
but
why I think it's kind of
I
just
will-
fun letting
I-
these players show out and have their fun.
I like the idea of having all-stars compete at all-star level. It's like I always bring it back to
Yeah.
like the old like Pro Bowl in football, and everyone's
Mhm.
seen Sean Taylor's hit on a punter.
Yeah.
Where you're like, that's Pro Bowl football players playing football.
No, but it's
I would
not
love
even
to see
just
Pro-
going out of the NBA. In the NBA back 70s, 80s, 90s,
that
I
too.
mean, it was a dogfight.
First,
The All-Star
first
game
thing-
actually meant something.
First thing they need to do is go back to wearing team jerseys.
Oh, that would be great.
That'd be nice
Or
too.
just like
Jerseys.
make
I-
nice jerseys again. They haven't had like nice jerseys in like
You should be able
10
to rep your
years.
team. You're an all-star of your team. I think
I haven't
team
even
jerseys-
seen these. I haven't even seen these
They're
jerseys
very,
yet.
very plain. You can look them up. They're very plain. I don't like them. You know,
Let's go.
like, but
Take a look
the
here.
idea of seeing like the
Oof.
the star NBA players playing serious on the same team together, You're not going to get that, I think, anymore. But where you will get that is in the Olympics or in FIBA. You
Yeah,
know, you
that's
get
going
that
back,
every 2
definitely.
years. You know, you get the Olympics every 4 and then FIBA every 4. So, and it's
Yeah, but
alternating.
sometimes not. The
These look
problem with
like
that is
Christmas jerseys.
sometimes not even the best players will play for FIBA or
For
the
FIBA, they
Olympics.
won't. They didn't do
I
it.
mean,
They lost this year, so that's
but
not
now
surprising.
now they'll come back with the Olympics, I think. Or they're trying to recruit like Edwards, Curry, LeBron. They're trying to get Embiid said he declared for U.S.
Yeah.
Paul
Mm.
Banchero might play. I mean, then that's when you get a good squad. That's where it's at.
Yeah.
Paolo Beccaro, who invited, bro? But
Dude, the Italian prime minister was pissed.
For
yeah,
what?
yeah,
Because
because he's
he's born in
Italian.
Italy. He's
He
born
was
in
born in
Italy.
Italy, but he declared for Team USA.
And he told
Ah,
everybody, you're like my family or whatever, blah blah. And then they're like, he popped up on the list. He didn't tell them. And they're like, what is this?
Yeah.
They're like, we don't
oh,
want you anymore.
oh.
He's like,
Yeah, I think outside the dunk contest, I think the NBA All-Star Game is going to be fun to watch. Usually always is. Three-point contest has my eyes. And then the All-Star Game itself, like I was saying. I mean, it's just fun seeing these guys show out. I'll
Yeah.
definitely be watching.
Yeah, I mean, they take like half court shots and stuff and
Yeah,
actually make them half the time.
yeah,
So,
Giannis jumped over Curry a couple years ago.
yeah.
exactly. They just have fun. It's nice seeing like a friendly pickup game of basketball because I mean that's what it's evolved to.
Yeah,
You got to take it for what it's worth now.
I also wish that we did have some guy like Russ pouting in the corner, mad at the world.
Right.
Just playing 100%.
Yeah. But it's good that the players will get a nice little break and
Yeah.
get healthy and we can move on to the
Final
NBA season really
stretch.
starts.
The final
I
stretch
guess.
before the playoffs.
So, and that's that's not for the NBA, I guess, and we can
Yeah. Yeah, I think
move
that
on to
basically does
the
it the NBA.
MLB. There's not
The
that much
little
to go around, but there's a
the
little
little
bit.
news that's there. But
Little
I think
little news.
little news. Little bit. But headlining
Oh,
this week, I'd say the biggest thing going on right now is it looks like the polar bear Pete Alonso is looking to test his waters in free agency next year, which
he better
I'm
bet
not
on
even a
himself.
Mets fan, but that hurts me, man.
He
It's
Pete
better
really
bet.
Alonso
disgusting.
is a Met.
He better bet on himself, because if he is very bad this year, and he's like, oh, maybe I want to stay a Met. They're definitely not going to give him what he deserves.
I don't know. It
to,
hurts
to me it makes no
seeing him
sense
being
because
snubbed.
to me building a baseball team is about you get pieces at each position, right, and you got to
Hmm.
just upgrade at each position. So in what ways the Mets, who are supposedly supposed to be contending for a title within a few years, right, that was originally when, and just let me cook
That's
here
what
because I'm a
Stevie
Mets
said.
fan. Uncle Steve, he said, I promise a World Series by 2025. That's what he said. Well, it's
Yep, okay, buddy.
2024. We're literally throwing in the towel this offseason. So,
Yep.
like, they gave up.
No, he released that statement where he's like, maybe we'll be
Maybe
contending for
we'll
the playoffs.
compete for a
Yeah,
playoff spot.
and
Maybe.
also the
So,
casino he wants to be
and
built will
he
be
wants to
done by
build a
2030.
casino, which,
Okay, buddy.
okay, great. Fantastic. Now, okay, in part of building our championship team, right, we have a homegrown, well-loved first baseman who is one of the best home run hitters in baseball.
Yeah.
Top 5 consistently in home runs. Some
I
years he'll
think
be
he's
leading the
top
league.
5 at first base too, in general. I mean,
Top 5
Yeah,
first baseman in baseball. So
there's an
like,
argument. There's an
if
argument
you're
for it.
gonna upgrade at first, which you're not, like you're just
Yeah.
gonna downgrade there for what? To get a better defensive first baseman? I mean, you don't really need
The
a better
prob-
defensive first baseman. He does fine.
What
Yeah.
year is Alonso in? This is what year is he in?
I think he's in his 5th year.
So the only thing I can see with this is that if he's in his 5th, the Mets don't really have a lot of young core.
hmm
That if you're gonna trade Alonso or let him go, you gotta full rebuild. If this your plan,
And that's the thing. If they're gonna
I
commit
mean,
to a rebuild,
and then
commit to
they
a
have to
rebuild.
go on
Don't be
yeah.
saying
after what you
we're gonna
just did
slowly
last
build.
year, I don't know how you can just turn around and say, all right, it's time to rebuild. I mean, you put all the pieces there, and you're just
Even
going to
as
give up on it?
even as a Yankee, no, as a Yankee fan, I wouldn't do that either. I'm just
I
saying
would.
if you let Alonso walk though, you have to
No,
throw in
and
the
it
towel. It just
really
doesn't make any sense.
hurts. It hurts to watch him, or more so, not watch him go, watch the Mets not go after him. Because I mean, to me, I see him as like another David Wright.
Yes, he's
He's
the
he's
Met.
another guy that everyone looks to and they just love this guy. He's putting his heart out every single game. He loves the organization. He loves the fans. You don't get a player like this all the time. When you have one, you need to keep him.
Right. It's like saying, and that's a great comparison, is David Wright, and before him you had Mike Piazza. Like you have
Yep.
that guy who carries the torch of like you're representing the franchise. Yes, I
Yes.
understand. Maybe you're not going to win a World Series or whatever, but you can't let a guy like that go on a team
Hmm.
like that. Where if you're losing him in free agency, that means it was about not willing to be willing to pay him because you're not going to upgrade at first base.
Exactly.
So it's just you're not
Exactly.
willing to pay him, even though we have Steve Cohen who's supposed to have all this money. We
Hmm.
can't pay an elite first baseman who is loved by the fans and loves the team.
Yeah.
It doesn't
No, it's
make
no
any
secret that
sense.
he wants to stay a Met also. I mean, he's voiced that numerous times.
Yes.
He doesn't want to go anywhere. But hey,
They have more
I
important
hope they reach a deal.
concerns.
I really do.
Yeah, I do too. They need to worry and keep him at first. Go get a
Hmm.
third baseman that's solid.
Yep.
They're fine at short. They're fine at second.
You need
You
some
got
pitching too.
I mean, you have Nimmo in the outfield. They have they need to upgrade certain pieces. Get
Hmm.
a now they have Alvarez had a fantastic rookie year as a catcher.
Yeah,
He'll
he looks
get
good.
better. He'll get better on defense. He'll be fine. Go get some pitching. There was no reason. I mean, they did what they could with Yamamoto. They matched the Dodgers bid. He chose their team. Go out there and go get some pitching. Go fill those other positions. It's you get that and
Running
then
out
you
of
get
time.
hot. You
They're
know
running out of time in the off season. They
they're gonna.
sat there a little
It's
too
bad this year.
complacent.
They need to make a move. They should.
They
I
do.
know. Good for the Yankees for having and I know Howell has not been very good at all, and neither is
This is the
Cashman.
best he's been. This is the
This is the
best
best
they've
he's
been.
been. So at least he had the fire under him to say, we're gonna go out and trade for Soto.
Yeah.
There's no reason why the Mets shouldn't have traded for Soto. There's no reason why the Mets couldn't have put a better offer together for Soto because the Yankees
They didn't have
really
Mhm.
didn't give up that much. The Mets replenished their farm
Mm,
system.
The Yankees gave up
the
pretty
Yankees didn't
much
give up
about
nobody.
they
We gave
gave
up
up
our
the
bullpen
and we gave up the most amount we
prospects.
could give, and you didn't have enough to give them. The
The
Mets
Mets
did
the
not
Mets
have
have had a much better
no.
much no the Mets had some really good prospects when they traded away their pitching Scherzer and DeGrom and Verlander. They got some really good pieces for their farm system. They're ranked I think in the top 5 in farm systems right now.
Yeah, but getting Soto for those pieces doesn't help you guys. Like I agree that Cohen should not have gone after Soto. Yamamoto should have been your higher priority, which obviously you got outbid. There's
Yes.
nothing you could do there. But you're not winning. You're gonna trade for Soto for 1 year. He's not re-signing with the Mets.
Why wouldn't he
I could
re-sign with the
Sure.
Mets with all the money
because
that they have?
There's no promise of success.
there's no future. There's
The
no
only hope that the Yankees have to keep him around is if they show him an ALCS or World Series.
But I see no reason why if they went out got Soto that
then
makes
that's
them a more desirable position because they needed someone to play left field. He can play left field.
Yeah.
They don't
yeah,
have
they
really someone
needed
there.
that, but he's not gonna save the Mets. And you're in the NL East, definitely. With
They
the Braves
needed
and the
they
Phillies.
needed another bat. He kind of filled that. He would have filled that perfectly. They had a lot of injury problems. If they just would have got some pitching, I think their offense would have been perfect with Soto for what they, to be a contending team. If they would have,
Your real needs as a Met right now is a third baseman and starting pitching.
yeah, I agree with
I
that.
don't think outside of that, I think everything else is pretty solid. But those are the only two places I really look and see holes at your
They
team.
really need that.
You need two solid starting pitchers and a third baseman, and you're talking a possible deep playoff run.
And it's not easy to get a solid, starting rotation. Apparently,
Yeah, no,
you know,
there's limited options out there right
yeah.
now. I mean, Montgomery's still floating around, right, Jake?
Yeah, Montgomery still is, and so is Snell.
Montgomery's still floating around, and Snell. I would jump on Snell if I were you guys.
I don't know why they're not.
I don't know why Snell
I don't
didn't
know
take
why
the
no
only offer he
one's.
didn't get.
Yeah, I don't know why no one's jumping on Snell.
Reigning Cy
He's
Young,
only gotten one offer thrown at him, and it was the Yankees,
and he
and he said,
declined it.
"Nope."
That's stupid. Maybe he
To
doesn't
me, it
want to
makes no
shave.
sense. To me, it makes no sense. But the Mets are just an interesting thing to watch year after year.
It's unbelievable. It's
The
really
Mets will
unbelievable.
always Met.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and they're focused on building casinos, not having a team that could make it to the playoffs. Like, I mean, come on.
The Mets will always Met.
It's really tough because you see the Braves making moves. All these teams are
Yeah,
making moves. The Phillies,
and those teams are in positions to win already, and they're making moves.
exactly. You can never do enough. You have to do more
Yeah.
because the Braves, they were way better than we were, and they still fell short in the playoffs. So,
Yep.
it's about getting hot, and it's about, keep improving where you can.
Yep.
They don't even want. They've gotten significantly worse. The Mets this
Yeah, I
offseason.
agree.
They lost a lot. They
They
need to
haven't done
improve.
anything.
They haven't done anything. So I don't know if they're gonna blow it up. Blow it up, but don't be stuck in no man's land. That's the worst
Yeah.
thing. That's what the Mets did for a long, long time, where they were perfectly okay with staying in, that middle. You gotta either
Mhm.
go in on developing players or go in on winning. You can't have both.
No, I'm with you all
Unless
the
you're the
way.
Orioles, they're in a great position. They can do
The
both.
Orioles are going to be scary for years to come.
They're
I'm
actually
telling
one of
you.
the teams that can develop
I'm
players and
really
be good at
telling
the
you.
same time.
They are going to be terrifying for the years to come. But I think that basically wraps it up for the Mets. The other final little tidbit of news in the MLB is, and this is a real headline, not to be revoked.
Yeah.
Jorge Soler has signed with the Giants for a 3-year, $42 million deal.
Yeah, let me just say something on this real quick. When you first told me this a little earlier, I said, who? And then because of the money, and then I looked up his stats while you
No,
guys were on your
Soler's
tail
a
end.
beast.
Okay. I looked up the stats on the tail end. Would I give him $42 million? No.
Giants have the money to spend. I mean, they haven't made a big
See?
splash in
I was
forever.
gonna say, can I see why they did? He's a pretty. I mean, he was MVP, and he has decent batting average, so I see why they gave it to him.
Yeah.
He's a good
The
fielder,
Giants are the
but it's
team
just
of almost got Otani, almost got Judge.
yeah, I can
They
yeah,
did have
like
Judge for like a half
They had
hour.
Judge for no, they had Arson Judge, not Aaron Judge.
Arson Judge, yeah, I
but
remember.
I could see
Never
why
forget.
the Giants signed him. He definitely helps them a little bit, but
I mean, Giants finished though last year,
why
middle of the
this is
road. It doesn't look like they're really in contention to do much.
I was gonna say is
Sure, this helps.
why this signing is getting so much is only because Montgomery, Snell, and Belly haven't done anything.
I agree too. I mean, this puts the Giants like foot in the door to maybe get something going this year. But 79 and 83 is where they finished last year, fourth in their division. They're not at the doorstep of doing something. So they need a few more signings here and there, maybe some moves um, throughout the season. But also, no secret, they have the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks both in their division. It's going to be tough for them to compete. I don't know if this really helps them, but I don't think it hurts them.
The best of in the past years, they've been the best of almost there, like you said. I can't
Yeah,
agree more.
yeah. They finally made a splash, though. And
Yeah, yeah. And I
yeah, I
guess their
think that
fan
wraps it up.
base. Yeah, but I was just gonna add quickly. I guess for their fan base, I know they've been disappointed at like almost getting guys, but it helps to know that like they are trying to get these
Yeah,
guys. They're just not acquiring them for
yeah. It
just
just fell
because
short
somebody
every time.
deciding not to. maybe players don't want to, play in San Francisco. That's just what
Hmm.
it is. So,
I mean,
yeah.
they did also just have one of the best MLB runs in history.
Yeah, in the
Like,
past decade.
it's still not too far off
Yeah.
when they had that Tim Lincecum, Buster Posey, Panda Man. That was a scary team, and
Yeah.
they took home what, 3 World Series
Three.
from that? Three, yeah. I
Three in
mean,
6 years. Every other, they
you
won
can't be
every
too
even.
disappointed.
They won
No.
every even year.
Yeah, you can't be too disappointed. I mean, they'll come back. I have faith in the Giants. They're one of those teams that always hangs around.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think that about
Yeah.
wraps it up for this week's episode. We'll
Yeah.
You guys have any closing statements you want to make?
No, I think it's just about good.
Great round 2. Hope to see
Yeah.
you guys next week for
All
sure.
right,
See you guys next week.
See you guys next week. Take care.